What did that tell you?
Okay, on Euro 1.
That is so good.
So we began in November of 2008.
Okay.
We had 120.
Yes.
Then in December of 2008, we had 108 people. But I remember it was the same day as Kanji Mbugwa's concert. And Kanji had billboards.
Wow.
So I said, what do you mean? Even with competition, we still had 108 people.
That means you had something.
On Euro 2nd.
You have like a tribe.
Done.
I like
so
it.
after that, it's now game on.
Game on. Let's kill this thing.
Game
Running
on.
an African startup is very different to running a startup anywhere else in the world. There's the tech OGs, guys who've done it for a while. There's the new kids on the block. There's the VCs, impact investors, government stakeholders, and everybody else. It is a crazy show. And if you have been running a startup or know somebody who has, the one thing everybody has is war stories. My name is Tonee, and my African startup story is about those war stories. It's about trying to find the African inside the business, wherever the startup founder is from. It's about being able to stand up for what you believe in, to keep integrity at the forefront of what you're running, and try not to go crazy while you do it. So even as you listen, whether you're a startup founder or in any of these sectors I've mentioned, may you learn something, be inspired, maybe even start your own business. Welcome to my African startup story. Enjoy.
That was December 22nd, 2019 at Blankets and Wine, and Sanel Musician was performing. He was a DJ, and Muthoni was one of his artists playing a song on stage called Insimbi. And that Negro with the screamy laugh and the that was me. That was me going bonkers. It was fabulous. I'd never had so much fun in such a long time. And the person that put this whole thing together is Muthoni Drama Queen, and she's our guest this evening. Nothing else to say. Enjoy. Welcome to my home.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
A book and a biro.
Yeah, because I can't think without writing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think with writing, without. But yeah,
When I have to order my thoughts, I have to write.
It's normally, like, you entertainment people, I say you entertainment people. You entertainment people, you do interviews all the time. You
Yeah.
talk to folk and they ask
Yeah.
you questions about, where are you from? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, why did they call you Muthoni?
Yeah.
This is not that podcast.
I hope so.
This is a money podcast.
Okay.
In fact, my first question when Juliana was here a little bit ago was, bro, how do you make money? And that's my question to you. How do you make money?
Okay. So I have multiple revenue streams because I do multiple things.
You see? There you go. This is true of the woman. You know how to spend your money. Tell me about this.
So on one hand, I am an artist. So I sing, I rap, I play drums, I perform.
So that's the Muthoni Drama Queen.
So that's Muthoni Drama Queen.
Yes.
So as Muthoni Drama Queen, I make money from performances, appearances, royalties, and I look forward to making money from brand endorsements.
So with your customer base being corporate mostly, or
No.
just folk too?
So some of the revenue is consumer facing. So performances and appearances, you get that from consumers, but obviously through a festival organizer or an event producer.
So gigs. Yeah. Okay.
Royalties you get when you make the music. So as long as the music is played on the radio and there's a good collection management system, you earn royalties in perpetuity.
These are kind of MSK situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But because I
I
work...
see you cringe.
Yes, because the Kenyan ones... Camp and Prisk, yes, sometimes.
Who?
That is the Kenya Association of Music Producers, and then the Performers' Rights Society of Kenya. Okay. So there's 3 collecting agencies in Kenya. The Music Copyright.
Now there's the MSK are the ones
And
everybody knows
Music
about.
Copyright Society of Kenya, because
Music
that one
Copyright
is
Society of Kenya.
primarily for authors and composers. So the person who wrote the lyrics, the singer, and the person who made the beat, right?
Yes. Okay.
And then you have the Kenya Association of Music Producers. So the person who paid, the executive producer, the person who paid for the studio, the owner of the master.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, because there is a difference between the person who wrote, the person who helped put the music together, and the person who owns all of that.
Exactly. So many times they can... If you paid for your own studio time, you are the executive producer.
Okay.
So you make money also as an executive producer.
What is most common right now?
Yeah, that's in Kenya, common. That's most common because you don't have a lot of labels. So a lot of artists are also their own executive producers.
So the label will be the one who pays for the studio time?
Absolutely.
And the okay, that's the norm.
Absolutely.
And the labels being like...
Soul Generation, for example, right? So Soul Generation will pay for Nveri to be in the studio.
Okay.
And then you have Performers Rights Society of Kenya. So
Performers
yeah.
Rights Society.
So if you by performing on a recorded work, so if you're a guitarist, if you're a backup singer, if you're a session musician, the person who helped the composer to put together, correct? Exactly.
Okay.
And then also what happens is every time there's events, event producers pay to the copyright to PRSK and CAMP. Because the idea is event producers. Because the idea is if I do a gig and there was DJ music that was played, right?
Yeah.
Or even if you guys were performing on stage, you are exploiting somebody else's work. There's a part of the rights that are not only yours. So if you belong to a record label,
for example,
and you're performing the music live, whereas you get compensation by being there, by virtue of being there, you and the band, the producer, the executive producer, the person who paid, the record label, isn't getting paid.
I see that.
So the idea is that they collect these rights and then they're meant to be distributed. They're meant to.
I always pick up on these words because I know there's so much angst and anger in the art industry. My God.
So, but then because I work with 2 Swiss producers and have been for the last 6 years, I registered in Switzerland.
Ooh, my goodness.
So their things work.
Of course, yes.
Right?
So, yeah. But then your music is played here.
Here and there.
And okay.
So it's in other places. And
so you make more money from there than from here?
Absolutely, from the royalties.
Just from
the part of it that's royalties, right?
Right.
And then you can also get money from synchronization. So you are making synchronization.
What does that mean?
So you are making a movie, you're making an advertisement, and you need a song. So you take my song.
Which you've already produced and put
Exactly.
out there. Right. And
So-
then you charge me or like PRSK?
No, I charge you directly. So you come and say, I want to put your song in, I'm developing a video game. Or I wanted to put it in the next James Bond movie.
Yes.
That's called sync. So you're able to make money from sync.
And you tell them like, oh, it's $10,000.
Yeah. You negotiate. So I think the thing about the creation of work is that you're able to earn money in perpetuity by the virtue of the work existing.
Do musicians know this stuff?
A lot of them do. It's just that a lot of them, at least here in our environment, because the system doesn't then support the theory, they don't see the materialization of this.
Oh, okay. So because the system isn't there, the infrastructure isn't there for this collection.
Actually, the infrastructure exists. There's just rampant and extreme theft. That's not even corruption, okay? Extreme theft.
This is serious. I laugh because I don't know what to do.
Extreme theft. So here in Kenya, you'll find a lot of people will make money directly from gigs and then from sync.
And then when they're making money from gigs, they're not even paying the producers.
So from gigs, it's like directly. If you negotiate your performance fees as $4,000, you end up getting your upfront amount of money. And then if Safaricom use your song in an ad, Safaricom will clear the rights correctly.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of corporate Kenya clears rights correctly, and so that's ways to make money.
Yeah.
You also make money from merchandising.
So that's your first way of making money. We're going back to the first
yes.
part.
So I'm still in music. How you make money in music? So you make money.
I needed a pen and
Yeah. So you make money from gigs.
Now I understand the notebook and
yes.
Okay, let's go. So you make money from
gigs, from performances. You make money from appearances. So people tell you, come, our mall is being opened. They just want your face there. You appear.
People pay you to just show up.
Absolutely. Club owners, product launches. Just come and put your face here.
What is that, like 100 G?
It depends on really who you're negotiating, the amount of time that is required, if the client, it's everything. At least.
Numbers. Just tell me something. This is a numbers show. Tell me give me I went to Thika Road, what does TRM stand for? That one?
Yeah.
And I got 100,000 for being there during the day.
So I would say
what's the average?
I did a 10-minute appearance.
You showed up for 10 minutes?
Yeah, it was a 10-minute performance. So that's not really a gig per se. It was kind of like come and sing 2-3 songs at a Heineken gig in Paris. And that would be like 5,000 euros.
That's 500,000 shillings?
Yeah.
And they flew you?
Yeah, so then I was already on tour. So then it's nothing for us to detour.
Yeah.
The thing to think about there is that then I don't personally make 500,000 because then you have to pay the band, the booking agent who made that gig come together. So then you will still end up with some revenue, but then it's not the whole amount.
And it's 10 minutes though.
It's 10 minutes though.
10 minutes.
Yeah, but it's 10 minutes of 10,000 hours that I've been working on for years.
True. No, but that is true. I will not refuse.
By the time you get 10 minutes, I've been working for 10 years.
Yes, so that 10 minutes is the culmination of a career.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you make money from gigs, from appearances. Then you make from royalties.
Gigs, appearances, royalties.
Royalties, yes. So when your music is played, you make money from synchronization.
Yes, we talked about that in James Bond movies.
Exactly.
For example.
You make money from merchandise.
What that is now, you put your
So yes, or you develop whatever. So after the show, when you do a good show, people want a piece of the show to go home with.
People want a piece of the show to go. That's not like a CD.
No, it's gonna be like a T-shirt. They want something that is going to remind them of this day.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then you have streaming revenue.
But then that T-shirt or whatever, you make it before
I make
the
it.
show.
I make it. So that's a cost to me.
That's a cost to you.
And then the hope is that, I mean, hope is not a strategy, but in fact now you have stock.
That was actually my next.
Indeed, hope is not a strategy.
It's not.
But the idea is that you then move the product. It's a product. It's just another product that people can have.
Is that the same as like where Beyonce has a cologne?
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
Whatever.
Indeed.
Kaepernick has sneakers
Indeed.
from Nike that was sold out in 30
yes.
minutes. That kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or Diamond has cologne.
Diamond has a lot of things.
Exactly. So merchandise is the whole business line.
Yes.
And a lot of that is tied with how people feel about you. Right.
Of course, it's that one-on-one.
Yeah.
And do you partner with like companies that make, for example, water, and then the company's like, you know what, we are going to brand this water as you, and then we're going to share revenue? Or do you create a product and push it to the market? How does that work?
So that's the next one that you can make money from. So that's endorsements.
Oh, okay.
So endorsement has multiple versions.
Right.
So endorsement could be, we are a product, Ketepa, push Ketepa. For the next 3 months, you're on billboards, you're on whatever, here's your check of $20,000.
There you go. 2 million.
2 million.
Yes. And that's you are giving me like numbers that would be,
those are regular numbers. Yeah, like
okay.
a 3-month product endorsement could be that. 3 to 6 months could be like 3 months, about
2 million bob.
About 2 million bob.
And these are like consumables, fast moving consumer goods, that kind of thing.
Right.
Cool.
You can also have another variety, which is we co-produce a product.
Okay.
Right.
What is that like?
So
Kenya doesn't have that. Do we have that? Because I know
I haven't seen that a lot here.
Right now, The Rock is promoting his tequila.
So I'm now having a conversation with a sneaker company here to produce a sneaker, right? To design a sneaker.
Which you design, and then
so I will design the sneaker, and then
Juliana will be pissed because we just talked about it right now. 2 hours ago, I was like, go to Bata, tell them. Anyway, that's what it is. Okay.
So you develop the sneaker together, right? So you design, but they produce.
Yes,
so there's
of
no
course,
cost to you.
You don't have a
Exactly.
factory in the crib.
Right. And then you make percentage points on the sneaker.
Yes.
So you get an upfront fee for design, and then you get percentage point on the sneaker. So
it's going to be
it's
like an
quite
NGO
yours.
brand.
Exactly.
A nice sneaker. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
right.
that.
So that's also a way.
I'm buying. Is it for chicks and dudes?
Yeah. It's a unisex sneaker. Yeah.
Nice.
It's unisex.
Where?
So that's dope. So those are multiple ways that you can make money as artist.
And where is tax?
On everything.
Like,
There's,
really?
I mean, it's income.
Like, wait. So do you guys pay taxes?
Absolutely. What do you mean? Are you kidding? KRA even sent to artists a circular and invited people in for a meeting.
I sit down.
Yeah, and I think I am.
Wait, KRA?
Yes, Kenya Revenue Authority.
This is very progressive. They were like, these guys are making some money.
In December. I think for them it was also understanding. A lot of times it's just because the industry is very it's always operated in the shadows, and it's like not quite clear and not understanding. So for them it's like, okay, these are your tax obligations, outright, and then it's also what do you guys do, and therefore how does the money work?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Because it's not a streamlined system.
No, and also it's not and then it's also not an entity. So if you pay Eric Wainaina, for example, for a show, me as a booking agent, I pay Eric Wainaina. But Eric doesn't actually end up making that whole revenue. Eric then divides the revenue between X number of band members, stylist, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So probably he'll walk away with 30% of the revenue from the gig.
Which is what now KRA needs to tax.
Now KRA would tax him that as his income tax. Right. And then you also have a thing called withholding tax, right? Yes. So when artists come from abroad and make money here, KRA is like, us guys, all we know is that they made money here. So we need 20% of the booking fee as the withholding tax. Tax is there, and for me, it's like once I became very accepting of the fact that tax is inherent.
And it's like death.
It's happening.
Sorry, man.
So instead of like escaping, etc., it's just being like, cool,
Yeah.
I have a tax obligation. If I was working in a bank, I would pay tax. So then just pay tax.
Yeah.
So it's part and parcel of the work. And I actively and aggressively encourage artists to figure out their tax situation.
Yes.
What I've found now at KRA is actually some very supportive and helpful people.
They're actually quite good now.
They are.
It's surprising.
They are. Like,
I
they'll
will
call
not
you
lie.
in and be like, okay, so what's happening? Why did you finally make returns? Okay, what's the nature of your business? Understood, got it. Okay, so this is what you need to do to. And I found that there is a sentiment at KRA where it's like, we need you to win for us to be able to make the tax.
Which is impressive to me because I had some serious carry debt.
Yeah.
My God. I was like, how much money do I owe? 6 figures. I was like, bro, calm down. I don't have that kind of cash.
Yeah.
And these guys kind of take you through the situation.
Yeah.
And so,
I must say that's a...
but this product is not endorsed by
Indeed.
KRA. But it's as you're talking about all these things, when a musician gets into when a musician starts being a musician, you know, this, I am an artist, I have such a good song. They don't walk in with these things in mind.
Yeah.
Where did you learn?
On the job.
Clean.
On the job, dude.
Simple. Like you got paid and then someone sent you a letter. You
The job.
$1 million.
No, I think it's like now in my other life as a festival human.
Which by the way we have not even begun.
Yes.
Right now I still how people
Exactly,
make money.
as
Yes,
an
yes.
artist. So when I got into this other world, after 18 months, my friend told me, you know, there's a thing called you have to do returns. I say returns.
After 18 months, you're a bit late, eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like, returns. I say, I don't know what you're talking about. So he gave me his accountant, and it was shoddy. It was terrible. No.
I like the way you just, you're like,
No. That guy never worked with us again. After that, he's like, you guys are too chaotic.
Really?
Of course, because it's just things are written on scraps of paper, how I've recorded my things. I didn't understand the fact that, if you're making money, these are the obligations that you
Yes.
have. These are the things, you have to pay withholding. I had no idea.
Wow.
So after that very traumatic
Shocking
experience, I figured that it was important to figure out how does money work and what do you need to do.
Which is where we're going back to. So now, you're an artist, you're doing all these things, you're getting all this revenue. We've talked about merchandising. Was that where you started? Did you start on that artist journey path thing? Was that the first place?
Yeah. I began with music. So your first revenue is going to come immediately from the gigs.
Yes.
And then from you being able to push your CDs after the gigs.
And how did you push your CDs after the gigs?
Literally after the gig.
You are like there.
You're just there. So you finish, and then now people. Now the cool thing is, generally, if you do a good show, you will sell product because people want to go home with a part of the music or a part of your product. Usually both.
And you sign something. Or
Yes,
whatever. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So you're able to do that, but it's not very effective, right? Because even if you have 10,000 people at the booth, streaming really, I feel, came to save the day. Right?
Piracy came to save the day.
Not really. Streaming. A lot of people are happy to pay for music.
right?
It's true. I see it with Boomplay. We collect checks off Boomplay. I see it with Songa. A lot of people are actually happy to pay for music.
Which people?
Exactly. I
Because
think
we've got Kilimani types and we've got Eastland types. Like, are we?
no, when you see the age set of the consumer on the music apps, at least the Kenyan music apps, I'm not even going to talk about the Spotify and the iTunes.
Yeah.
I mean really Boomplay and Songa and Mook Music. It's young people. It's people in their early 20s.
You guys are paying for this thing?
Yeah, they're paying like the 300 a month, 200 to have the music. It's because people like music.
Yes.
So I think YouTube is default settings for music, but you require like a lot of data to download the videos.
Yes.
And like, pirating actually takes quite a bit of time and data.
It's hard to pirate.
Yeah.
That's the reason why
so
streaming
there's
seems to make
sites.
sense.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to pay this $2 and I can also have all this music and also maybe I can have this music offline. So I'm starting to see that because we see the revenue that's
I
that's
mean, when
being
Tidal
made.
was being bought for 650 million, whatever amount of money was being bought for, there was a reason why they got that software up. And
Obviously,
that
the number
was
could be larger.
Obviously. Hey,
Right,
there's always
I mean, we've already moved from like absolutely pirate to I guess I can pay 200 a month. But I just like, well, we're making sense. We're moving in the right direction.
Muthiga was here as he was talking about Nairobi Half-Life.
Yeah.
And how they had just come from the launch of Nairobi
Yeah.
Half-Life at Prestige.
Yeah.
And in the parking lot, there's a guy who's like, hey, Nico, Nairobi Half-Life. And I've watched it. It's amazing. I've watched it. And it was fantastic how it's so
I think Safaricom also, I must give them credit for that. They did a lot in educating the consumer on buying music.
Yeah.
Because the idea of buying callback tones and ringback tones,
True.
this is what taught people that you can buy, with 5 bob, you can have music delivered to you on your phone.
Immediately. Skiza tune types.
Exactly.
And I know that thing's making people a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you started off in the music space.
Yeah.
Obviously got educated as you went. And then now tell me about the other ways you make revenue. Quickly, just say I do this, this, and this, and then let's jump into why did you jump into those ways of making money?
I also make money because I am employed by my business.
This is true. This is important.
A company that does festivals. So I get paid that way.
Yes.
And then I have started, it's not significant, but I've started to earn money as a speaker.
Ah, this is good. I like that. Okay,
yeah, and I would very much like to increase that.
She would like to speak. Everybody.
Please,
If you have
are you
interest
guys
in a
hearing?
speaker, just
Pay
call her.
me. Call
Yes.
me. I'll come and tell you things.
And now listen to her. She's speaking so well. She's eloquent and clear. She's Barack Obama type.
Yeah.
Then you started tell me about the festival thing, because Blankets of Mine is your thing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So,
Where did it start? When? Why? How?
so this began in 2008. It was a direct response to the frustration I was experiencing. So when I began making music, there was an idea in the industry that there was sort of only this urban Kenyan music could only sound in a particular way. So it was kapuka. And if you were not kapukaing, you could not, we didn't really have space. So I mean, I'm certain I'm not unique in this predicament. There was me, the Susannas, the Eric Wainainas.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of artists who just wanted to explore sounds, and it was just there's no space on the radio, and therefore also there's no space at the gigs, right? So I started a little gig in a bar in Westlands, and then it quickly plateaued.
When you said you started a little gig,
I mean, like once a month, all my friends would come and I'd charge them 300 bob and I'd take a percentage of the bar.
boom.
And then I would pre-finance because I was working as a program assistant at ICRAF.
Wow.
Okay?
Yani, hey, ICRAF.
Yeah.
Like the NGO you know about.
Correct.
Yo.
So I'd pre-finance.
ICRAF, thank you for financing the club. Okay.
Actually, it was biodiversity at ICRAF, but anyway. So I would pre-finance the gig, and then the idea I'd get it back from ticket sales and from percentage of the bar.
And that was like, is this something that you started?
So 2007.
In 2000, okay. And that was just for you guys to perform. It was just.
Yeah, it was just because I wanted to make music, and I was happy to make the music, but it's just like,
Come on now.
So then after a while that stopped working because the bar owner would tell me that there was people but no one bought alcohol. Really?
That's a lie.
Or the alcohol sales were low.
That's a lie.
And then also the space had a finite amount of people.
Okay, because you were trying to grow this.
Yeah.
Because there's like a listening group, or you're trying to make it a thing.
So I was trying to make it a thing.
Okay.
Because I wanted a career. Because I was like, this gig as a program assistant was just like.
ICRAF was not really appealing.
That it was not. It was a gig. It was just a day job.
Okay.
I was doing what I really like, which is to make the music.
Yeah.
But it's like.
What?
So the gig couldn't grow.
Yeah.
And I was having problems with reconciliations with the owner. And so it was just like either you quit music or you change the situation.
Yes.
So when I was discussing with my friends, I thought that what I needed is a bigger bar. My friends are like, you're crazy. All bar owners are the same. Right? And like, what's going to change now? How are you not going to be fleeced at the bar? What's going to happen? There was also user fatigue, right? As your pal, if I've come for 3 of them and you've not changed your repertoire of music, so now I'm going to wait for another 4 months until you have like new songs.
True.
So there was also a question of how do you increase the variety of the thing that people are listening to?
And guys told you this?
Yeah, my friends are. You need really honest
Those
friends.
are good friends.
If you don't have friends who can tell you what it is, what time it is. Yeah.
Your friends are really straight.
Yeah, my friends are straight.
Like they told you straight.
Yeah. Stop postponing a problem, solve it fundamentally. So I guess in that discussion, it was just kind of like make a list of everything that you think. What do you believe are the advantages of doing this thing? Like, I thought that it was cool if you do it on a Friday night because people can come. If it's near, it's in West East, whatever. Make your whole list of everything that you're doing, then just write the opposite.
Huh?
Just do the opposite.
Wait, explain that to me. So, and now there you have lost me.
Now, here's the thing.
Write the things you think it should be.
Write everything that you're doing currently,
What
right?
you're doing currently.
Currently, everything
Was
that
it
you're doing.
succeeding?
No, it was at this point. It's not succeeding because I'm having the conversation because it's like I'm obviously now not making money. I'm putting in the money, but I'm not getting back my.
Because the numbers are dwindling.
The number has plateaued and even sometimes dwindling because the experience is not improving.
Right.
And also
Because
your
now
music
you've got
is
like
not
a tribe of
changing.
people. Yeah.
Exactly. And now you're not making the amount that you thought you'd be making at the bar. So actually now I'm paying out of pocket to keep this gig going.
So
So in actual sense,
it's
it
a
was
loss.
exactly.
Right.
So write everything that you are currently doing and just do the opposite. So if you're doing it so I was doing it by night, do it by day.
Okay.
If you're doing it like nearly conveniently located, just do it far where people have to choose you, right?
Wow.
So just write all those things. If you're alone on stage, what could change? Put a variety of artists. Just everything you're doing opposite. Worst case scenario, you end up exactly where you are right now. Second worst case scenario
That's so good though.
is that
that's
you have
really
a new
good.
set of problems.
Yes, true, which is different from
But
the old
yeah,
set of
but
problems.
you're already having problems.
That's progress.
Right?
Yeah.
Best case scenario is that
See, this is why
the
you
gamble
should be a
pays off.
speaker. This is true. This is why you should be a speaker. Best case scenario, the gamble pays off and things work.
And here we are 11 years later.
And it's been paying off. So let's talk about the first one. Because I'm sure that is where...
Yeah, so the first one. So things coincided really well in my life. My contract ran out.
Okay.
The position that they wanted to offer me was a lot more administrative than what I was doing before.
Okay.
And I was very sure I would die in that
Yes.
role. I'd have been a very poor administrator of that project. Because it's...
You knew this and you were honest to yourself.
Yeah.
about it.
You have to be, some things it's like, please imagine, don't block somebody's blessing over there pretending so you can have stability of income. I also had the, what's that thing that when you're young and you don't know things,
Well,
when you're young and you don't know that you can fail, because I was failing, but I had the cushion of my job, right?
Okay.
I had never failed.
as in, there was no rock bottom in that
I hadn't rock bottomed. I was still living in my mother's
rock bottom
house.
is important, Jenny.
Yeah, so at that moment, I just had like the audacity of youth. It's like, this is a great idea. My friends love it. It's gonna be awesome. It's
I
called
will
Blankets
make
and
money.
Wine.
That blankets and wine.
Finished. As soon as that name came, I was like, yes, this thing is gonna work. I knew exactly who had a venue to do this. She had come for one of my gigs and she really loved it. She's my friend's aunt.
Okay.
And she told my friend, if Muthoni ever needs any help, bring her to me, because she was a fan. So I was like, okay, cool. You have this outdoor spa. You've just begun. I guess I could bring you footfall
was
every
this? Where
month.
was this? Where was this?
Tayana.
No
This
idea
is
where that is.
Windsor area. That
Okay.
is Kiambu Road.
Okay.
This is pre-Kiambu Road being made.
Because I remember that time.
Yes.
And being, wow.
Yes.
There was no lights.
It was not a very attractive
It was
road.
dangerous.
Correct.
Clean.
But she had a venue. She needed footfall. She was
Yeah.
a fan. She was like, come and do it. And we just finished uni. There was just a sense that maybe this thing can actually happen.
There's like a gang ho spirit going on, and then you had people around you who cared about what you did and you wanted to try it
And
out.
I also thought that fundamentally this is a plan. I would go if you tell me that come and sit over here, bring your wine and like a blanket and
Like a
come and like
picnic
hang out
situation
with your
and chill.
friends and
Yeah.
just like listen to music. I'll do that.
Okay.
I mean, if it's work, I won't do it again, but I'm happy to try it at least once.
At least once.
And I just had the sense that if you tried it once, it'll be enough, right? Because it's dope.
It is dope.
And also it doesn't exist. You're going to do it where, I don't know, you can come with your mom out on a date. Like where, the way Nairobi is set up, the way our entertainment is set up, it's like bars
Yeah.
and finished.
Because Nairobi it's crazy.
Exactly.
There's nothing else.
There's the middle things where like people with family, where you can kind of, this middle experiences don't exist. So I was
Yeah.
like, I think it's going to work.
If you're not a bar drinky type hoppy person
Yeah.
and you're not going to the museum
Yeah.
and going to Uhuru Park type
Yeah.
person, there's nothing.
And even if you're a museum type of person, like I'm really a culture person, the exhibitions don't switch around
No.
frequently enough. There's just not enough for me to say every weekend I can have like,
Even if we've got 127 museums, it's just they're just no.
there could be a more robust, I think, curation and just like, anyway. So I just thought it was going to work.
Interesting.
I just thought it was going to work.
Yeah.
And then I asked a few friends of mine who are musicians if they would be willing to come on the platform. We had like very little money to pay, but this
Yeah.
was our principle going in, that we were always going to be able to pay.
Yeah.
And I thought that in the same way, I needed an opportunity and an audience to share my music with. Everybody who was not on radio needed this opportunity.
Yes, and there was a lot of people who are not on
Yes.
radio because they were not playing Kapuka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, if I can convince enough guys to come on the platform, if you bring your 100 and I bring my 50 and you bring your 200, eventually we're going to cross-pollinate these audiences.
That's true.
And my job was ending anyway. So I did the poster, I circulated around our office. All my colleagues were like, this is awesome.
And then?
Here we are. Then the first one was, the first one we really held our breath. It was It was when you just have like suspense, like what's going to happen, what's going to happen.
You've got no sites.
Nothing. And then
was
we
it
had
pre-technology? Was it pre-ticket?
Yes, it was pre-ticket. It was pre-everything. It was pre-Facebook, because now Facebook was the next year. 2009 is when now Facebook was actually like a thing. So it's really just, you tell your friends and you just hope enough people.
Like campuses
you just wait.
And guys were buying tickets at the door.
Yeah. So you just wait and see who's coming.
Miracles. Okay, so how many people came for the first one?
120.
Yeah, the way you came up with that number so fast, you remember it like
forever.
yesterday.
I'll never forget that number.
120.
120. I'll never forget that number.
What was
I don't know, I just wanted to make sure I flipped the money, because I put in 100 G's. So I just needed to make sure I flip it.
And
I just needed to make 100
and
enough, because that means I can pay for next time. And then we made 120 because it was 1,000. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Because we had 120 people and they each paid 1,000 shillings.
Well done.
Yeah.
And that was and then what did that tell you?
Then it told us, okay, it's like on Euro 1.
That is so good.
So on Euro 1, then we did on Euro 2nd. So the next month.
This time you've got Facebook.
No. So we began in November of 2008.
Okay.
We had 120.
Yes.
Then in December of 2008, we had 108 people. But I remember it was the same day as Kanji Mbugwa's concert. And Kanji had billboards.
What?
And I remember there was also another capital gig.
Man.
So I said, what do you mean? Even with competition, we still had 108 people.
That means you had something.
On Euro 2nd.
You have like a tribe.
Done.
I like
so
it.
After that, it's now game on.
Game on. Let's kill this thing.
Game on.
Why did you do it? I mean, usually people do like a quarter. You do one event, you chill for a bit.
No. Youth had told me first on a very at a very pragmatic level. I was no longer had my job.
Yes.
Which means if nobody's employing me, I have to employ myself at least once a month.
That's true. Or at least once a month.
Minimum.
Because bills come monthly.
Correct.
It is true.
So I need at least once a month to be able to pay my personal bills.
Yes.
So this...
And what were you spending money on?
That's for next time. Catch us on the second podcast and we talk some specifics in some specific areas. Not all of them, just some areas. Catch you then.